So, what does it mean to be straightforward? I mean, as a regular word, it means things like being direct, clear, honest, saying what you mean, right? That's what being straightforward is. In psychology terms, it really is kind of opposite to being manipulative, where manipulativeness is a person who is communicating something without really saying it and expecting you to figure it out. Personally, my definition of manipulation is a person who, through their words and actions, is attempting to get buy-in from someone else on something that's good for the manipulator, but they sell it as being good for the manipulatee, or that the manipulatee is somehow bad or foolish or whatever for not wanting to agree or go along with what they're being asked to do, right? So it's manipulation in some ways is challenging reality. It's like gaslighting. It's considered a classical manipulation. Manipulation, like I said, is the opposite of straightforwardness. Manipulative people do not say what they mean and often don't mean what they say. Manipulative people are not clear. Manipulative people are not honest. Now, as a more precise term in psychology and personality theory, straightforwardness is actually a part of the agreeable personality. Now, not all agreeable people are very, very super straightforward, but in general, agreeable people are pretty straightforward. Their direct, non-manipulative communication is an aspect of agreeableness. Now, by directness, please keep in mind, I don't mean abruptness, like saying what you want. I don't mean it's like that straight talk like that. It's not saying what you are meaning if just to say it, even if it would hurt someone. It means being sincere. It means being honest. It's a person coming out and perhaps saying things clearly, perhaps even asking for things clearly, without all the manipulative muck of victimhood and other stuff. It's clear. Now, a key element of straightforwardness is that for a straightforward person, their behavior is in alignment with their words. So they'll say they're going to help you with something, maybe when you move, and they actually show up and help you move. They say you're welcome to come over anytime and stay, and then when you say I need a place to stay, they welcome you into their home. They say the thing, they mean the thing, they do the thing, right? They don't use throwaway language to make themselves look good. Like, yeah, call me anytime. And when you do call them, they're sort of acting as though you're inconveniencing them, right? Straightforward people live their words. Straightforward people are also willing to be vulnerable, and they don't hide their feelings in order to get a strategic or a tactical advantage. In fact, what I'd say is in many ways we use the word integrity to apply to straightforward people, right? Integrity is sort of what a lot of straightforwardness is about. Now, when you are on the receiving side of a straightforward relationship, you're in a relationship with someone who is straightforward, and you also are a healthy person, it's great. It's like peak relationship. You feel safe. I have a particular friend that came into mind as I was, thinking about this video, and she very much has this trait. Simply no artifice with this person. This is a person, she says what she means. She shows up when she says. She shares things in her life honestly. She speaks her truth. On top of that, she's not judgmental. It's literally one of the safest relationships I've ever had in my life. When she can't do something, she can't always be available to everyone she offers help to, she will apologize and she won't make excuses. She doesn't react angrily. And then she will do her darndest to try to make it right. Very, very straightforward, extraordinarily agreeable person, all right? And it's a wonderful relationship. Now, people in narcissistic relationships who are straightforward easily get stuck in narcissistic relationships. And these are tricky, right? Because now you are stuck in a cycle. If you're a straightforward communicator, you're stuck in the cycle of you being a straightforward communicator with a person whose style of communication is almost exclusively manipulative. Where you are being honest, they are not. Where you are sharing what you're feeling or experiencing, they are not. Where you say that you're going to do something, the manipulative person may or may not do that, but then will also darvo you and play the victim if you point out a broken promise that they made, right? Opposite of straightforwardness. Now, one of the many, many tragedies of any narcissistic relationship is that we can kind of lose the value of that straightforwardness muscle over time. Being straightforward in its fashion puts us at chronic risk and makes us even less safe in one of these relationships. So how do we hold on to our straightforwardness without getting overwhelmed and gobbled up by the narcissistic relationship, if you are fortunate enough to be someone who is straightforward? Now, the good news is that straightforwardness is an element of personality. And while the healthier or healthiest personality traits, such as straightforwardness, are a bit more flexible compared to the rigid, maladaptive personality traits like manipulativeness, for example. Ultimately, though, what we do know is personality is stable, right? Straightforward people tend to be straightforward. Agreeable people tend to be agreeable. Antagonistic people tend to be antagonistic. So your straightforwardness isn't going to go away, but it's also not going to get rewarded or chosen. So the straightforwardness can start feeling a bit like it's almost like getting you into trouble, right? So one of two things can happen to the straightforward communicator who finds themselves in a narcissistic relationship. Now, one path is that the person who's straightforward, that they maintain their straightforwardness and they keep feeling worse and worse and worse about themselves and about the world at large and about relationships overall, because the straightforward person maintains their straightforward communication style and they keep getting shut down and manipulated and having to face the chronic rage of the narcissistic people in their lives, or they fully abandon themselves. And with that goes the straightforwardness, right? And this wonderful quality of straightforwardness just isn't, in essence, sort of selected for anymore. And even in other relationships that are healthy, the straightforwardness may not be there as much, right? Because in many ways, that straightforward style, what became unsafe, and even if the person isn't connecting the two, it just is part of the suppression and the silencing and the abandoning of the self. The true personality gets squashed for a person who's in a narcissistic relationship. And with that often goes the straightforwardness. It's almost like an overall kind of clipping of the person to this more, you're just not able to be as straightforward. Now, a lot of healthy traits, empathy, straightforwardness, compassion, trust, these things sadly make us less safe in narcissistic relationships. Now, other traits like cooperativeness, altruism, and humility, they get strategically used against us. The combination of these traits mean that the traditional patterns of self-abandonment, self-blame, trying harder, are all more likely to happen in a narcissistic relationship. And because we are blaming ourselves, and these narcissistic relationships are emotionally full of emotional traumas, having our safety chronically, or psychological safety, chronically betrayed in a relationship is trauma, especially in the absence of any protection or capacity for escape. So we stop trusting ourselves and slowly start trusting other people less too. And what can happen is we feel like bad people because we're not able to trust. So again, it just becomes these endless cycles that harm us. We may remain cooperative or altruistic or humble, but these traits combined with the required self-abandonment that keeps the narcissistic relationship moving means that we are no longer advocating for ourselves because it's not safe to, and perhaps not even advocating for things that matter to us. So what happens to this wonderful straightforwardness? Well, the toxic dance within a narcissistic relationship for agreeable people, particularly agreeable people who are solid in that straightforwardness, is that you keep being straightforward, okay? You keep being straightforward. You keep speaking honestly, from the heart,